Are your people working hard but not reaching their full potential? The problem is not effort, it is development. At the Modern Observer Group, we transform workforce development into real performance. Our human-centered achievement programs help your team think better, communicate stronger, and execute at a higher level. That means higher employee engagement, stronger leadership, and measurable results across your organization. If you want a workforce that performs, leads, and delivers, it is time to invest in your people. Visit modernobserver.com and discover how the Modern Observer Group helps you build a workforce that wins.
Iran expands Middle East attacks, a new policy on AI, the effect of remote work on unemployment, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Iranian attacks hit Kuwait and Bahrain on Wednesday as the U.S. carried out strikes near the Strait of Hormuz. Kuwaiti authorities reported damage at Kuwait International Airport and diplomatic missions. Flights were suspended, and Kuwait Airways later resumed operations from Terminal 4 after damage assessments and safety checks. Kuwaiti state reporting said one person was killed and others were injured. Bahrain's military said it intercepted 3 missiles and several drones. Iran said it targeted the headquarters of the U.S. Fifth Fleet in Bahrain, along with an airbase and helicopters in another regional state. The U.S. military said 2 Iranian missiles aimed at Kuwait fell short or broke apart in flight. It also said several ballistic missiles failed to hit targets in the region. Oil prices rose more than 2% as the Strait of Hormuz remained largely closed. U.S. and Iranian officials have not finalized a deal to reopen the strait or end the conflict. The Trump administration proposed new tariffs of 10% and 12.5% on imports from 60 economies after determining they failed to curb trade in goods made with forced labor. The U.S. Trade Representative issued the proposal late Tuesday under a Section 301 unfair trade practices investigation. The USTR proposed 10% additional duties on imports from Canada, Ecuador, the European Union, Indonesia, Mexico, Pakistan, Argentina, Bangladesh, Cambodia, El Salvador, Guatemala, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Britain. The agency proposed 12.5% additional duties on the remaining 45 countries investigated, including China, India, Nigeria, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. Trump issued an executive order Tuesday that seeks to address the potentially catastrophic cybersecurity threats posed by artificial intelligence. But the directive calls for less advanced government scrutiny than the White House had been set to impose last month, the AI industry's latest victory in its push to avert heavier federal oversight. The final text asks some AI companies to submit their powerful new models to a voluntary government review 30 days before releasing the products to the public, a pause that would give federal agencies some time to gauge what threats the products may pose to sensitive financial, national security, and other computer systems. California held its primary Tuesday, but the tight governor's race could take days or even weeks to call. Mail ballots postmarked by Election Day are counted through June 9th. Republican Steve Hilton and Democrat Xavier Becerra were leading in unofficial early returns Wednesday morning and appeared positioned to advance to the November California gubernatorial election in the race to succeed term-limited Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom in steering the nation's most populous state and one of the world's largest economies. Hilton, a one-time British political strategist turned American conservative commentator and former Fox News Channel host, who is backed by President Donald Trump, and Becerra, a former California Attorney General who later served as cabinet secretary in former President Biden's administration, were in the lead early Wednesday morning, with votes still being counted and results not yet certified. The U.S. Supreme Court allowed Alabama to use a congressional map that favors Republicans. The map eliminates one of the state's two districts where black voters make up a majority or near majority. The decision gives Republicans a potential advantage as they defend control of Congress in the November midterm elections. The ruling affects Alabama's congressional delegation and follows years of litigation over district lines and representation. President Donald Trump on Tuesday tapped Bill Pulte, who leads the Federal Housing Finance Agency, to serve as acting director of national intelligence, succeeding outgoing DNI Tulsi Gabbard. He will oversee the sprawling U.S. intelligence community, which includes the CIA and National Security Agency. Pulte at the same time will continue working as FHFA director and chairman of the mortgage groups Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The rescheduled White House Correspondents Dinner will be held on July 24th, according to the association's president, CBS News' Weijia Jiang. The dinner will be held a day after the 3-month mark of the assassination attempt at the Washington Hilton Hotel, this time at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Trump called the rescheduling a sign of strength and fortitude. Veteran 60 Minutes correspondent Scott Pelley was fired from the long-running CBS News show on Tuesday following a bitter clash with network editor-in-chief Barry Weiss and new 60 Minutes executive producer Nick Bilton. Yesterday, you hijacked my first meeting with staff to disparage me, my qualifications, and my intentions with remarkable incivility and contempt. I welcome a diversity of viewpoints and respectful debate among the team, but this was nothing of the sort, Bilton wrote to Pelley in a memo. The rise of remote work, not artificial intelligence, explains most of the recent jump in joblessness among young college graduates, according to a new analysis from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Employers say they're filling work-from-home jobs with experienced hires rather than fresh grads because of the difficulty of training someone over long distance. Unemployment among graduates under 29 rose from 3.1% before the pandemic to 3.7%, even as the rate for older seasoned workers slipped. The findings push back on a popular theory that AI is wiping out entry-level roles, though the authors caution that this could change as the technology spreads. That's the Raw Naked Truth for June 3rd, 2026. Remember to like and subscribe to the Raw Naked Truth wherever you listen to podcasts. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.